Hello and welcome to the first episode of 2024 of Derby County Academy in Focus. This is the place where we keep you up to date with everything that's happening at Moor Farm and help you get to know the next generation of Derby County stars just a little bit better. Coming up, we'll check in on the under-21s, but we start with what dominated the final couple of months at the Academy. Derby County's FA Youth Cup campaign saw the under-18s take on Mansfield and Bolton and beat both comprehensively to set up a dream tie at Manchester United in round 3 and a trip to the Theatre of Dreams.
Win, lose, draw, perform brilliantly, perform poorly, nothing changes in terms of what the staff, the club think about you. And remember that. They think you're good players, okay, it's been spoken about as a good group with high potential and you're a top group of lads. So remember that, because that's not going to change. This is one game, it's 90 minutes, it doesn't change that. So although right now you'll be feeling everything's on it, the reality is, and I'll keep saying it, if I see you in 3 years' time, 2 years' time, walk out onto Pride Park, that'll be the biggest buzz for me. Okay, you don't leave anyone out there on their own, everyone stays together. You pick them up, we go again, and we keep momentum. And remember, we know about speed, we know about territory, but there's a feeling that no one can measure in momentum. And that feeling you can control. You can celebrate the small ones. You can pick people up when they're down and you can help people out. And that's what top teams do really well. Impose our game, your individual game, on them. Okay, you do that, we give ourselves the best chance of winning. Alright, what do you do?
So not to be for the under-18s whose FA Youth Cup journey ends in the third round. That defeat at Old Trafford was the tightest scoreline they've had recently. The Young Rams made amends for a 6-1 thrashing by Leeds with a glorious 6-0 win at Forest. Niall McAndrew and DeJean Brown both scored twice in that one. And they put 4 past Middlesbrough as well to move into the top 4 of Premier League North. They face 2 of the top 3 in their next 2 games, including a rematch with leaders Manchester United early next month. Stoke and Blackburn only have 5 wins between them so far this season. Now, on the last episode of Derby County Academy in Focus, we introduced you to some of our 18s, our second-year scholars to be precise. Now it's time to say hello to our first years.
Owen, central midfielder.
Who are your heroes, Owen? Who do you look up to in the game?
And then Max Bird, like his way through the academy. Obviously that's what I'm trying to do, so yeah.
Do you know Birdie much? You speak to him at all?
I speak to him now and then, like, because we just live in the same, we used to live around each other, so you know, if I see him I'll speak to him and stuff.
Do you like the fact here you are sort of close to the first team and the 18s, the 21s, the first team, they all seem to inhabit the same spaces?
I think that's important, like, us being around them, obviously gives us stuff to work on and see how they are, so.
dcfc and I'm a centre back. The first team experience was a surreal experience for me, like playing with the first team. It's just what you dream of as a kid, and being through the academy. It's what you want to push for, you want to be in and around the first team. And to do it at 16 years old is a big achievement for me, and especially my family. I just want to do them proud.
I'm Damien Augustine, I'm a midfielder. Now I'm basically working on my strength, power, because I lack a bit of it. But now I'm just working on my diet and everything. So I'll try to improve on that. And the strength for me is I've got a good set piece in me, I've got a good passing range, outside of foot, inside of foot, everything, and I've got a good shot.
Harley Price and goalkeeper.
I've heard some great stories about how players move into the position that they now play. Tom Owen was telling us yesterday about how he started as a left winger.
Yeah.
What's your story? Have you always been a goalkeeper?
No, I used to be a striker, then right wing. Then for school I wanted to be a goalie, just to mess around. And then I went to County Corp and a scout just said, can I have trials at Derby? And that's it really, and that's how it progressed.
I'm Isaac Gordon, I'm a fullback playing right back. So I support Sheffield United. They play fullbacks, they don't play wingers, so they do a lot of running themselves. So players like Jaden Bogle, who was previously here, he's starting in the Premier League at the moment for Sheffield United, and his stats are quite high in the running stats, so yeah, he's doing a lot of running. Is it nice to have a player like Jaden Bogle playing for your team, who obviously was here like you, and I think pictures are still up of him around the place? Is that nice for you? Yeah, it's good to see players come through the academies and go on to teams that you support. I mean, when he transferred to Sheffield United, I was quite happy because obviously I'd seen him play, he's a good player, and he brings a lot to that Sheffield United team.
My name is Johnson Osong and I'm a left winger.
Are you someone that's been sort of split between football and academics then, if grammar school was on the horizon for you?
Yeah, that's quite a lot. Even with GCSEs as well, it was quite hard to balance with doing from 8 o'clock till 4 and then coming to training and then doing it the next day and then resting. It was just really tiring.
How do your teammates react to that? Because I'm guessing some of them aren't as focused on school as maybe you've been.
Yeah, I think some of them are a bit just open-minded. There's quite a lot of them that have done well in their GCSEs, so I think they have similar views to me as well, with education being very important.
Justin Oguntolu, striker.
Talk to me about you as a player. Striker, goal scorer, what's your sort of style?
Yeah, just like poaching inside the box really. Just like any loose balls in the box. I feel like I'm quite good at getting to it.
Any heroes?
My favourite athletes aren't footballers. My favourite athletes are LeBron James and Lewis Hamilton. Because I like basketball and Formula 1, and those are my two favourite athletes. But in football, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I like Saka and Bukayo Saka most.
An Arsenal fan at Tottenham, did you have to keep that to yourself? Or?
You can't like go around, I don't really go around telling everybody, just keep it to yourself really.
Luke Banks, central defender.
What was your dad's reaction when you got scouted by Derby?
Just really pleased with me. You know, he played football when he was younger for Chesterfield, so he wanted me to play football. You know, growing up, and I think, like, even to this day, they're still proud of both my mum and my dad. So yeah.
How do you look back on your time at Derby so far?
Honestly, it's been amazing. You know, the coach has been great. Luckily, you know, the facilities here are amazing. I think that's been really, you know, beneficial, helping me grow as a footballer. Luckily, you know, to renew the contracts, you know, every 2 years. Now as a scholar, looking forward to, you know, hopefully pushing on, getting a professional contract, moving to the under-21s.
My name is Marcel Toller and I play centre mid. I joined at the start of the season and it's been good so far, yeah.
What was the process of getting picked up by Derby then for you?
Well, I came for a trial for about a week. First, I came for 3 days, then they called me back for a week. And then, yeah, I did well, and they offered me.
So now I'm a Kandra central midfielder. I think I realised that it got more serious, you know, around like 14, 15, as in when you were younger you were playing for fun sort of, and obviously you come in and see your mates playing what you love and stuff, but obviously then when you get older it's more full-time and stuff and you see how it gets more serious, the coaches start like shouting and stuff, so yeah.
My name is Tristan Gill and I play left back for the under-18s.
We'll talk about your journey at Derby, but you've had a week, haven't you, scoring in the FA Youth Cup? Tell me about that.
Yeah, like scoring. I live in Mansfield, so it means even more to me, like playing against all my mates and everything. Like obviously scoring against them late in the game to like cushion the game even more.
Is that your sort of game? Do you like to get forward and get in the box?
Yeah, like I like to join in the attack and like make overlapping runs, crossing the ball in the box, like helping score goals, set up assists and stuff.
Any role models? Anyone in particular you sort of model your game after?
Sort of watch like the first team with Craig Forsyth and stuff, and then like Alphonso Davies. I like him, like because of his speed and stuff, how quick he is with the ball. Like he does the same as me, sort of stuff.
Lovely stuff, thank you, mate.
Top man, mate. Good stuff.
The Coles boys would love the fact that you've named check both side. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more from some of them as the season goes on. Plenty of them have already been involved with the under-21s this season, of course. And to check in on them, Mark Lawrence has been talking to under-21s individual player development coach, Keith Briggs.
Briggs, a couple of games back from the break over winter, and we'll come on to those games in a second. Just talk to me about how that winter break shapes up for you guys.
Basically, we've obviously got a run of games leading up to the winter break, fully concentrated on them games, and then we'll obviously speak to a few of the players who work or live further afield, try and get them some rest time, try and get back to see the families. Also liaising with the first team as well about players that might be needed over the Christmas break, try and help them with regards bodies for the training sessions that they need. And yeah, just a couple of days in between, and then, you know, back in it after New Year. So it's yeah, good. It's really good.
Is it about finding that balance during that time of making sure the players stay fit and stay in tune with things, but also having that time away too?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's a very hard season. It's a very long season, and the breaks that the players get are often far between. So if we've got the opportunity to give them a few days, try and get home to see the families, it's well deserved. But also got to find that balance that they don't come off too much. They've got programs that they will do at home. The players that do go home will work hard away from the training ground. The players that are in and around it to support the first team will obviously still be training. They'll have a little bit of time off, but like I say, they're pretty good nowadays players. They look after themselves, they work really hard, and they still come back in really good condition. So all in all, we've got some good lads, and they've really fully concentrated on the job in hand, really. So,
like I say, a couple of games back, we'll start with the first one, the trip to Fulham. It looked like it was going to have such a nice ending, didn't it?
Yeah, the boys were excellent, to be fair, both on and off the pitch. You know, with the travel, we prepared really well. The club provided us with an hotel, so we went down on the Thursday, stayed in a hotel, and it showed on the pitch really. Other than the result, take the result away, there were a lot of really good individual performances. You know, as a team collectively, really positive, and obviously just the last final 5 minutes kind of sucker punched us, but the individual learning and the learning as a team was there. So we'll take the positives out of it and move on.
Yeah, was there disappointment from the group at losing so late, and what can they learn from that disappointment?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, they're human beings, they want to win games. It creates an environment of sort of hunger and desire to do well. After all the efforts that they'd put into the game, I think they fully deserved a win or a draw at least. And to come unstuck in the final 5 minutes is obviously an hard one to take. But, you know, we got them in the changing room, we spoke to them, said it's, you know, it is a really big learning curve. We've got to maybe work on them mentally and a little bit of the togetherness to see games through, making sure that we pick up results and stay concentrated for the final minutes of the game. So probably that was the learning more so out of it, making sure that they stay and stick together and see the game out and do the roles and responsibilities that they've been given. And I think, you know, once they add that to the game, there'll be more and more results come our way, I think.
Yeah, certainly quite a contrast to Tuesday afternoon as well, wasn't it? Really putting Notts County to the sword.
Yeah, obviously a different type of game. We've entered the Central League Cup to come up against a different opposition. I think Notts County were a little bit sort of behind us with regards to training. I think that was their first game, from the Christmas period and the New Year period. So I think we were in a good place. You know, and we put them to the sword really. We created a lot more chances than we did. Only scoring 11 was a little bit disappointing. We should have scored a little bit more, but I think it was good as well to have the first team players in and around it. Gives the younger boys an opportunity to get in and around them, see how they conduct themselves and hopefully learn from them older boys coming in. But all in all, it was a good process. We take a lot of sort of constructive points out of the game, a lot of learning as well, but yeah, we'll just move on to the next one now.
How much do you learn from having these different kinds of opposition? So you're in obviously the 3 competitions, Central League, Premier League 2, and the Derbyshire Senior Cup as well. What will that help how will that help the players develop in those different kind of opposition they'll face?
Yeah, I think every game's not the same. You know, I think we come up against different challenges. A lot of the Premier League 2 games are a lot more tactical, a lot more in possession. You know, how well can you keep the ball? Can you manipulate a situation that will create goal-scoring opportunities? I think the Central Cup and the Central League Cup games are a little bit more back to front. We have to deal with more aerial balls, teams loading the box a little bit and maybe concentrating on our duels, second balls, and the other side of the game that we've got to work on. There's a big focus on it because it's a massive part of the game, but it gives us an opportunity to work at it in games, which is vital.
Talk to me a bit about your relationship with Jake Buxton. You've worked together for a little while now, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I played with Jake in my playing days, so I've come across Jake before. There was a relationship there before. Worked really closely with him over the past 18 months, in and around the 18s, working with him in the 18s, assisting him there. And then obviously moving forward into the 21s. Talk about tactical stuff, trying to help him as much as I can in and around the training, putting a training program together to help him get what he needs out and what he needs to get into the players, alongside my role, which is working closer with the players, adding all sorts of layers to them that they might not see or get out as much as they should do within training sessions. So sort of breaking things down, putting the players under the microscope, working on tactical stuff that they might see in position specific, and hopefully that we can put sort of little drills and sessions together to help benefit the players.
Is it fair to say your role is a lot more individual with players then in that case?
Yeah, a bit of both really. I'm in and around it on match day. I'm in and around all the meetings with Jake that he puts forward during the week, tactically and preparing for games of oppositions that we come up against. But I think it's more of a breakdown of sort of across the 4 corners, seeing what every individual player needs, whether it be the psychological side, the social side, not just technical and tactical, and how we can get as much out of these players as possible to give them the best chance to get in our first team.
Has that helped stepping up from 18s with a lot of them then in terms of having those relationships and knowing where to work with those players?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously working with them quite closely in the 18s, a lot of the second years are having taste of 21s football, so I've built that relationship with the players over the time. You know what makes players tick, you know where you can sort of push the boundaries with them and sort of get the best out of these players with regards on and off the pitch. And I think it has held us in good stead that me and Jake did know the players coming forward. We recruited quite well with regards bringing a calibre of player in that has helped the 21s perform better this season. Still a long way to go, but we're there or thereabouts, and all we can do is keep working hard, and hopefully some of the players progress into the first team. If not, they go on and have good careers in the game themselves. So yeah, try and create that environment to get the best out of these players day in, day out.
What's impressed you most throughout this season in the group so far?
I think the environment that they've created a really good bond. There's a togetherness about the players where they work for each other, they want to do well, they're good lads, they want to learn. So all the stuff that me and Jake are providing the players, they're taking on board, and they're going out and performing to an ability that's challenging the so-called better clubs in and around the country. So they're doing everything that we ask, and long may it continue. So yeah.
A lot's been said about embedding a style throughout the academy this season, especially with the new staff that have come in. Yeah. What's it like being at the higher end of that? So, you know, you're getting them on the final stages in the academy journey, aren't you?
Yeah. I think obviously Craig Fleming's come in and he's wanted to build on a philosophy that is front-footed, very high and aggressive press. We want to win the ball back high at the pitch as possible, and it's about getting these behaviours into the players as quickly as possible, both in a tactical 11v11 scenario and as individuals. What are them behaviours as an individual, and making sure that they perform them behaviours as best as they can. It's definitely come out in games. We're seeing the benefits of the hard work that's going on in and around the club with the experience that we're learning from, and we're taking it onto the training ground and then taking it into games. So all in all, it's been a really positive few months with regards to that. We're challenging the players as best as we can, so we're always putting a good challenge in front of them. And you know, there's still loads more to come, like I said. We're not the finished article, but the lads are trying their best. They're doing everything that they can to try and develop and move forward and progress, and that can only be helped with the high calibre of coaches above us, me and Jake, and gaining from their experience that they can provide to the players.
Where do you still see improvement in the side then? What's still to come from them this season?
They've just got to keep learning. They've just got to, obviously, sometimes it becomes a little bit individualised with regards players wanting to get in our first team and go on and play first team football. But I think as much as they can dedicate themselves to the game, they become obsessed with the game and try and take the tactical and individual learning that we give them week in, week out, it can only benefit them as players. And if they don't quite make it here, then they will go on hopefully to enjoy really good careers, both on and off the pitch. You know, it's very difficult to become a professional footballer nowadays, but if we can look at ourselves in the mirror as coaches and say that we've given everything to these boys to help them develop and become players, then I think I'm happy with that, and I think the club are as well. So they're good lads, like I say, they work hard, long may it continue.
Under-21s coach Keith Briggs there. Well, December saw the under-21s pick up their second Premier League 2 win of the season. Ryan Bartley scored twice in that 5-1 thumping of Reading. The young Rams conceded goals in stoppage time to fall to defeat to both Southampton and Fulham, but they took out some frustrations on Notts County in the Central League Cup with an astonishing 11-1 win last week. Plenty of Premier League 2 action coming up for the 21s, including the visit of Nottingham Forest at the end of the month. They also visit Buxton in the quarter-finals of the Derbyshire Senior Cup. And we'll let you know how they get on in the next episode of Derby County Academy in Focus. That's all from us for now. Until next time, goodbye.